Good day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Q&A, Social Security Disability Today, Special Edition. I want to thank you, as always, for asking me questions. This is the first time during the course of my show I've actually had two special requests for special shows. This past week I did a show on heart conditions, and a couple of days ago I did one. And then I had another question that was posed to me that they would ask me to talk about in detail, and that has to deal with garnishments. Okay, let's go ahead and break this thing down accordingly. What is a garnishment? A garnishment is an action that's taken where there is presumably a legal debt that's owed by an individual, and the owner of that debt takes particular action against the debtor, meaning you have two people, a creditor and a debtor. The creditor takes an action, a legal action, typically we'll call it a garnishment order, against the debtor in order to have their benefits involuntarily removed in order to satisfy that debt. So here's a nice way, and this usually happens more, you see this a lot in employment action. So let's say you got a credit card company and you owe like $5,000 on your credit card. You ain't paid that thing since creation. So what they do is they file a suit against you. They get a judgment against you. Then they take that judgment and they basically file for a garnishment order against you. So this way they can notify your employer that there is a garnishment order they have in effect, so that then what the employer does is every month when they pay you, they take out a portion of your money per month to satisfy that debt. Now, this comes up a lot in Social Security context where you have people who ask the magical question, and I want to thank the person, I don't know if it's male or female because the name is a name that could be male or female. I want to thank the individual who provided me a very nice question with regards to this. Let me tell you, I can give you the answers to a lot of this very short and succinctly. First and foremost, if you have any questions about whether there's something that could be garnished, I always tell people go to Social Security first. That's your best resource. I know you probably think they're the enemy, but they really are your best resource. Let's kind of break it down. I can break it down into three particular categories. Okay? Actually, let me freeze that. Four simple answers to your question. First, is your benefits potentially subjected to garnishment? If it's Title II, which is where you pay into the system, yes. Title 16, probably not. Most benefits received under Title 16 are probably not going to be subjected to garnishment. Okay. Second of all, 42 USC 407, if I remember correctly. Make sure I got the number right. Yep. 42 United States Code 407 specifically prohibits. Basically, it says that none of the monies paid or payable or rights existing under this subchapter shall be subject to execution, levy, attachment, garnishment, or other legal process. Here's the nice thing that you need to be aware in the grander scheme of things, as I said. First, if you're Title II, yes, your benefits may be subjected to garnishment. Ultimately, what you need to know is that that garnishment is typically only going to be as it relates to a particular categories of federal debt, child support, and alimony. Pretty much everything else, garnishment is probably not going to be an option. What am I basically telling you? For purposes of what I'm telling you now, if you have Title II, it's subjected to garnishment. That garnishment is going to probably be limited to only federal debt, and that could be federal taxes or other federal debt like federal student loans, child support, and alimony. Other than that, your Social Security should be safe from garnishment from private creditors. Now, I had a very interesting proposition that was posed to me where an individual asked a question where I guess the creditor basically said, you're going to come with me and we're going to go down here and you're going to basically sign your rights over and handle it, just like that. Well, if someone tries to swell up on you to try to get you to agree to relinquish your Social Security rights or Social Security benefits, if they're basically threatening you with a garnishment of your benefits, tell them to put it in writing. Tell them if they're going to put their money where their mouth is, tell them to put it in writing. Now, stress that, see what happens, because what probably is going to end up happening is when they go back to speak to their counsel for their company, and they're saying they keep asking for us to put it in writing. Why are they doing that? Well, the legal counsel is probably going to say, well, there's a federal statute that basically prohibits garnishments. It's what we call the anti-assignment, anti-garnishment provision of the federal statutes as it relates to Social Security. So they know that the likelihood of getting that is almost slim to none. So keep that in the back of your mind. Now, Title 16 is a need-based program, which is one of the reasons why it's exempt from a lot of the garnishment provisions. So that's the first thing. Title 2, and please forgive me if I keep going first, second, third, fourth, but you're following with me. So if you get confused, come back. I'll be more than happy to clarify it for you later. Hooked on phonics today. My bad. The government recognizes that there are two brackets where they allow the states to go after: child support, alimony. Reality is that most of the child support obligations that you accrue, whether it be arrearages for child support, you did that before you became disabled. So they're going to make sure that that child is going to be compensated as a result of your child support obligations. Alimony as well. So those are pretty much the two most commonly referred to state applications that you see this applied to. Federal debt. I got news for you people. If you owe taxes for the purpose of Title II, yes. If you have a federal student loan, yes. There are specific provisions in the federal statutes that allow the federal government to get reimbursed their monies. Most people, at the end of the day, their biggest concern is private creditors, and which is not surprising. We're in a hard economy right now. It's not impossible where you have your debts starting to build up and you start to worry if they're going to go after your disability benefits. Now listen carefully, because I believe in legal responsibility. Don't run dirty and get you a credit card, run that sucker up, and then say, hey, I ain't got to worry about it. They can't come get it. No way. Don't do that. Because what you're going to find is you may put yourself in a position where if they start asking you where your source of income is for paying for when you're signing for the credit cards and they find you're on disability benefits, they may not award you one, period, if they know that. So I tell you, be smart, be fiscally responsible. Don't run dirty, because it's just not worth your while. Now, I hope that answered your question, and for those of you who thought I was all over the place, allow me the opportunity to kind of give you a summation succinctly. First and foremost, other than federal debts, child support, and alimony, the federal government does not permit garnishment of Social Security disability benefits. So if it's a private creditor, you should be fine. The only debts that are allowed to be garnished are federal debts, and that includes taxes, federal student loans, alimony, or child support. And kind of as an added aside, they typically don't go for the rump shaker. They calculate it down. They'll take a portion of your benefits per month. It's not one of those things where they'll snatch the entire benefit in its entirety, so don't freak out with regards to that. So I hope that gives you a little bit at ease. I know this has been kind of hooked on phonics the way I broke it down, so please forgive me. I know that this is an area that people are greatly concerned about. So if you need me to go into more clarification, as always, make sure you send me a comment or a question, ask for more detail, and I'll be more than happy to provide it to you. Again, my name is Attorney Anthony Reeves. This is your Q&A, Social Security Disability Today, our special edition, and today we've been talking about garnishment. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care.